Welcome to BatYard Productions. This is our first review with our special guest here.
Hi, I'm Josh Lawton.
I'm Conor Donovan, and this is BatYard review of Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
So Conor, since you're the Marvel expert, what were your thoughts like before going into Captain Marvel?
Well, I was super excited as soon as they did that big Phase 4 announcement back at Comic-Con. I can't remember how many years ago it was, but when I saw the name Captain Marvel go up on that big screen, I lit up, and my first thought was Carol Danvers, Carol Danvers, Carol Danvers, and sure enough, we got ourselves a Carol Danvers.
Was this at San Diego?
Yeah, this was SDCC.
Okay.
And I got to say, Brie Larson played it to the letter. She really did a good job of playing Carol, I think.
Yeah, I have a couple gripes with this movie, but like overall, I enjoyed it more than I disliked it. You know, I thought it was a fun time. I would just kind of recommend it off the bat for anyone who's like interested in what's the new one? Enders? What is it?
Marvel. Oh, Avengers Endgame.
Endgame.
Yeah, Avengers Endgame.
I wanted to say Ender's Game, and I was like, that's not what it is.
I can see how you might think that, yeah. I mean, hey, it's cool fights in space. That was essentially what Ender's Game was too. So.
Yeah. See. So it's going to be called. It's a crossover of Avengers and Ender's Game.
Harrison Ford's going to stop Thanos.
That would be pretty great. I would like to see that.
Why did it have to be gems?
Instead of Kylo Ren killing him.
Oh my God.
That would have been more badass.
A better movie, yeah.
That would have been a better movie. But that's not what we're talking about. We're here to talk about Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
So overall, I thought it was pretty good. You know, especially if you're interested in Endgame and you want to know who's going to be in the movie. You know, it's a good spacer in between both films.
Between films, yeah, something to tide you over. It's funny, I said the exact same thing about the first Thor movie when it came out, which was that it just felt like they needed to set this character up for Avengers. And it's kind of the same thing here. You know, I think the film's biggest issues come from its pacing. I think they were just trying to they had a story in mind. They had a lot of great concepts, but they were like, we got to get her in for Endgame. We have to get her in, and that's top priority. So I think that's where a lot of the big issues came from.
I totally agree with that. I think the best part for me was Samuel Jackson. He was my favorite character and just favorite overall. And the makeup and CGI effects that they put on him was like, it was really spot on.
I was really convinced. I was like, wow, how did they make him look so young? Exactly. I'm looking at Pulp Fiction Samuel L. right now. That's awesome.
Exactly. I didn't question it at all. You know, usually with those kind of effects, you're like, this looks off, like some uncanny valley thing. But I didn't get that at all with this. I think it was very flawless and seamless. So it was pretty fantastic. He was my favorite part of the whole movie.
Oh yeah, Samuel L. Jackson absolutely kills it as Nick Fury, and it was a great opportunity to get to know the character of Nick Fury, who's sort of taken these passive roles in the MCU, but has built up such a following with fans.
I would definitely actually watch a Nick Fury.
I'd watch a Nick Fury Coulson team up like we saw, buddy cop movie.
Yeah, that'd be pretty great. You could get
super cops.
I think you could get some Black Widow in there. That'd be pretty great.
Gotta squeeze her in somewhere. People have been clamoring for that movie. So
Conor, I have a couple questions. I don't know if before we move on to spoilers, I don't want to go too harsh on spoilers, but if you have any final words you want to give off to the audience who hasn't seen
just kind of as an introduction.
Yeah, sure.
Well, what I'll say is a comic run about Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel came out around the same time as the announcement of the movie, and in anticipation I picked up that comic and I kind of refreshed myself, because there have been so many different characters to wear the mantle of Captain Marvel in just the Marvel Universe alone. But Carol Danvers was always my favorite from the source material. A lot of comic book fans might know her as one of the driving forces in Civil War II, when she goes head-to-head with Tony Stark. Based on what I've read between what came out in the early 2000s and what came out in the late 90s, it's another comic book adaptation where they stuck to that source material so impressively well. Like, scenes I recognize from the panels of the comics. So if you haven't read the source material, they don't do a great job of explaining the universe to you. They sort of do an 80s movie style,
kind of thrown in.
They throw you in the deep end, and you kind of have to put things together as you go, which I don't mind. I kind of like
that. I don't mind that either.
It's a sort of gotcha in your face sci-fi future planet world. You're like, whoa, everything's crazy here.
let me correct myself. I don't mind it if it's done right. Where I understand what the heck's going on. And I think this kind of flipped the coin a little bit.
I can see what a lot of people who haven't read Captain Marvel stuff that I've spoken to so far were pretty lost in the beginning.
Yeah, I was super lost.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. The whole Marvel's intergalactic stage is incredibly it's incredibly full. The Kree Empire in the comics are a huge huge plot force. They're constantly they're a race that is obsessed with superiority. They think they're the ultimate power in the universe, and there are Kree on either side of that opinion. Some who resist the supreme intelligence, others who are for the glory of the Empire, that sort of thing.
What's the blue guy's name from Guardians, the first one?
Oh, Yondu?
No, not Yondu. The main villain.
Oh, Ronan the Accuser. Yeah,
Ronan.
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah, Ronan was back.
He was in this for a brief moment.
I know. I was so bummed because I saw stills from, I forget, it must have been People magazine or something that featured Ronan, and I flipped. Because Lee Pace as Ronan the Accuser in Guardians of the Galaxy, I loved that.
Yeah.
Such a good villain.
Very, very straight man.
Such a good villain.
It was very good.
He was imposing, articulate, and I wanted more of him.
Yeah, I was expecting him to actually show up and have a face off with Carol Danvers. At least at one point.
I wanted that.
It's kind of minor spoiler with I like the guy with the swords who's on the team in the beginning. He's in the first Guardian.
I forget the actor's name and I forget the character's name.
Yeah, but he's in there, and I was like, I remember you, and I don't know why.
It's a fun little poke for Guardian. This is what this guy was doing before he became the cyborg slave of Ronan. He was a Kree strike force.
If you're delved deep into the Marvel canon, you will know first off the bat that she's on the wrong side. You're like, huh. That guy's not good. No. And then you see Ronan, and you're like, huh, okay. So you kind of put two and two together. You're like, there's something fishy about this crew.
Something at some point is going to turn here.
Yeah. But he kind of appeared like Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back, out of the hologram form and everything
just
that.
Just this imposing shadowy figure.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, he's kind of talking up like he's going to show up later in the movie, but. You kind of get a payoff, but not really.
No, they totally let you down with Ronan. He just it's very much an instance of Boba Fett in the original Star Wars movie. Boba Fett's here, Boba Fett's dead. He doesn't. Spoiler: he doesn't die in this movie, obviously, because it takes place before Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just sort of Ronan's here. We'll get you next time.
Yeah, I got to talk about. So Kevin Smith had a little.
A little nod to Kevin Smith.
A little nod
with the Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah, Stan Lee was reading the script to Mallrats on the train where Carol Danvers was fighting. What are those shaped?
The Skrull.
The Skrull aliens. So she's fighting one of them. And Stan Lee's there reading reading Mallrats.
The script for Mallrats.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I was thinking about it. I was like, wait, they discuss Spider-Man. They discuss how he created all these characters in that film.
Yeah, there you
go.
go.
I was like, what? So that's canon now? But I guess this is a different script where he wrote different heroes. Like Angel Man and something like that.
Well, the great thing about the MCU is it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's not afraid to just poke a little bit, just scratch away a little bit at that fourth wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Just enough.
Yeah.
As long as you just sort of go oh, that's kind of neat, and you move on from there. It's like what Matt Groening describes as the magic of The Simpsons, how everything just sort of resets and nobody talks about the plot holes later.
Yeah. Well, that's more episodic. I guess this is episodic, and
at this point, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is pretty episodic.
It's basically a TV show that you have to pay tens of dollars to see every time.
I mean, what is Netflix? We pay $12 a month to see the newest Marvel thing.
But that's going to be over soon because of Disney.
Yeah, we're getting that Marvel streaming.
So thanks, Disney.
It's going to be good. It's Star Wars, Marvel, whatever else they own.
I don't know.
Sports Center could be on
I hope everyone just boycotts it, so then Disney's like, fuck, we gotta go back to Netflix. So everyone out there, just boycott.
Well, they're gonna come for us.
So, my few gripes with this movie. The pacing of it was very it just felt very
They
iffy.
throw you from one scene to the next.
Yeah, there wasn't any really character development, and all the character development you get with Carol Danvers' character, which is the main focus of the whole story, is like basically 5 minutes, if that, and it's just glimpses of her life, and I'm like, what the heck? I have nothing to really connect to with this character.
Her amnesia kind of becomes her whole motif in the movie.
And like, I mean, I get that. I kind of wish with this film it was more linear. Just so we had something to grasp on with this character, so we like see the beginning stages of everyone saying no, you know, with the go-kart, Carol, you can't do that, you know, with her training and exercises and everything like that, you can't do that, you know?
I agree with that.
I think it would have like had the audience had more connection towards the main character, you know, like I was like, who the hell are you? I don't know what's going on.
No, we're sort of just like reading from her, like, you know, we're looking at her like Facebook 3 years ago feed, sort of thing. Like,
exactly.
Look at all the things that she's been through.
It's basically just scroll through her Facebook very quickly, and then that's all the information you know.
Here's a cheat sheet for the origin story, because we're done telling origin stories. Although this was, I mean, this was an origin story on top of her actual origin story.
Yeah.
It's not how she got her powers, it's how she took on the mantle of Captain Marvel.
Well, it does show her getting exploded.
That's true. We do see how she gets her powers.
Yeah.
We do see how she gets her powers.
Like some generator or something like that.
A Kree Lightspeed fusion core explodes, and she absorbs its properties, and she becomes a living reactor. They don't touch upon it so much in the movie, but that's how it is in the comics.
Yeah, well, they kind of.
It's pretty much implied. It's like when Deadpool when Ryan Reynolds gets all messed up in Francis's laboratory. In the comics, that's the cancer going nuts on his system because it's becoming just as powerful as his healing factor, but his healing factor holds it back. They just sort of don't talk about it. They just sort of said, "Oh yeah, the side effects are you're ugly."
Yeah. So I gotta say, with Brie Larson, at first I kind of wasn't with her character, and I thought her acting was like kind of off. It just, I don't know, something about it just didn't hit the right chords with me. But like overall, like throughout the movie, I thought she was getting better with the character.
Yeah.
Like when she gets on Earth, I was with the movie. I was like, okay, I know what's going on. You know, in the beginning, I had no idea what was happening. I don't know, something about the acting too just like felt weird. I think it was just maybe how it was written or something like that. I think it was the main problem was the character development for me. She's very one note, especially in the beginning of the film.
She's a badass. Get out of her way.
Yeah, that's really all there is to her character. She doesn't have too many human, I don't know, emotions. Like not that's not completely true, but like it's very one note and not too much else is going on.
No, I think you're right about that. She just sort of goes to the extremes. Like she gets angry, I mean, she's a soldier, and she's playing an elite Kree super soldier.
That's true. I just wish they showed.
She's a very stoic character.
They should have shown her life, and like she should have had like a different personality, at least somewhat different, like more lighthearted.
Yeah.
You know, when she's a human, and then when she turns into the Kree, like she kind of turns more alien-like, like more like. Yeah. Like one note. Then you understand, like, oh, that's not her humanity's taken away from her.
Well, you kind of get the sense. I got the sense in the movie, like based on the scenes of her like Top Gunning with her friend. You know that she's like Carol Danvers is just sort of hardwired to be a badass. Like especially with the whole like you can't thing. It's sort of like her whole thing is just doing what she wants, damn the expense. Don't care who's telling me no.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. I just wish they showed the duality of like her being a human and her being like a Kree, like an alien. There's like somewhat of a difference. So like so kind of when she remembers who she is and everything, there's like a definitely like a different character that comes out. Like when she remembers everything, she kind of is the same person.
Yeah.
There's like no change. True. You know. So that's like really my only gripe with it. The cat.
Flarkin. Nobody messes with her Flarkin cat. I was so mad when they didn't say that line though.
So I'm sure you know way more about this cat than I do, but like when it turned out to be an alien, I was like very confused.
Yeah. No, that's canon in the comics too. At least in one run that I'm aware of.
So that
Goose is a Flarkin.
The cat just shows up is just had a
Well,
shield.
no, it was Marvel's cat first. Like the old woman.
Oh, it was.
Yeah,
okay.
she brought the cat with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But I mean, I just missed that part, I guess, because I just like
They
I was like,
just
how
let
did
it
this cat get here? Where did this cat come here? She
Goose
said
the
shield. I'm
Flarkin.
like, okay.
Goose the
You know,
Flarkin.
I just accepted that at first. I was like, oh, maybe it's just like some soldier's cat or something you just left there. But that makes more sense that it's the Lady Marvel or whatever.
Scientist, yeah.
And I like the Skrull, the main guy.
Oh yeah, what's his name? Something Mendelsohn. Ben Mendelsohn, I think.
Yeah. So I thought he was really good, and I like his character. He had more of an arc than Captain Marvel. you know, if like with him, like you think he's this way, you think he's going on in the dark path, and then you realize, oh, he has a family. You know, I have something to connect to with this character.
I thought that was nice. I thought that was a good plot point. But I'll be honest with you, I wasn't a big fan of that plot point, because I'll let you know that's kind of a huge flip on what the Skrulls are. Like the Skrulls were secret invasion.
Okay.
Like they came in, they replaced heroes they killed people with extreme prejudice during the Secret Wars. Like in the comic run, both the Skrulls and the Kree are massive like dealers of turmoil in the Marvel universe. They're both like war-hungry, ravaging races that go through the galaxy,
so they
cause a ton of problems for Earth. Oh, and they totally flipped out on
That's
their head.
kind of lame.
I know, and I was bummed. Like I really wanted to see shape-shifting become like a tactical thing. I wanted to see the Skrulls I want to see the Skrulls be the Skrulls.
I could understand that.
And I'm always the first person to say people shouldn't complain about it if it's different from the source material. Think of it as a new iteration, a new issue of the comics where they're trying things different.
Totally different.
This was a little too different.
Right.
I think that kind of disappointed me. But for what it was, since it was there, it was in the movie, there was nothing I could change about it. So, ranting aside, what they did with it was good. Maybe I felt for the Skrulls.
Yeah, maybe
they made me feel for the Skrulls.
Right. Maybe if they use a different alien species or something like that, wouldn't really
I would have liked that. And
how they felt.
It's the same issue I had with Age of Ultron, where they did a week of Ultron. It was they wasted like such a rich art, like something that could have been 3 movies. Age of Ultron. Slight tangent. Age of Ultron should have been a trilogy in the Marvel universe. That should have been like the first. I think that should have been their first, big villain lead-up. Like, they could have saved Loki for a little bit later and gone with Ultron. Mm-hmm. Same deal with the Skrulls. Like, Secret Wars should have been a trilogy or something. Again, I'm not Kevin Feige. I don't even pretend to understand the complexities that go with making these movies and making these movies connect. But it just seems like a swing and a miss with the Skrulls for me.
Yeah, you almost sound like you're talking about Batman v Superman, where you're talking about like all these stories should have been multiple movies.
Exactly.
But that's on a way different scale, where it's way worse. So Marvel, you're doing great. You're not DC.
That's true. I'm still willing to forgive. It's not so bad. It's not so bad.
All right, so I'm gonna pause it here. Hi, Connor.
Hi, Josh.
What are we talking about?
Well, now that we're back from our commercial break,
yeah, please buy this stuff from our sponsor.
Yeah, go buy a Raptor shirt or whatever you guys sell.
Yeah, that's us.
But yeah, we were just wrapping up talking about the big twist with the Skrulls and how we felt about that.
Yeah, so I did like the whole development with the Skrulls. With a comic book fan, I could understand how you could be a little peeved.
I was bummed.
That they changed these arch enemies of the intergalactic universe into these
like the conflict between the Kree and the Skrull. It was just so big in the comics, and it created so many ripples in the universe. So it's just a shame to see that go to waste.
The music in this movie?
The music was good. I liked it.
The score was pretty good. I liked it. I'm Just a Girl part felt a little off. I was like, huh?
I thought it was less dumb than the Istanbul, now Constantinople fight scene from Umbrella Academy.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen all of them.
I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for Gwen Stefani, because she used to be a ska musician.
Right.
And I used to listen to her band.
Well, I have nothing against the song. It just didn't feel like it was the right, in the
greater context of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you're used to more orchestral, like really driving.
Well, not even
pieces.
that. I could see like that in like a Guardians Galaxy movie, you know, or the comedy, and there's like something to go with the, you know, his mom's playlist with his Walkman and everything like that. When I'm Just a Girl comes on, it just kind of felt a little out of place for me. I was like, what is happening? I guess you know. I mean, it kind of fits, you know, with the theme of the whole movie, but it just kind of felt a little out of place. I think if it took itself a little more less seriously, I think it would have been a little more earned, like Guardians kind of.
See, that was the thing. I thought it made enough. It made enough jokes. It made enough little nods to like get away with that. It was sort of like Captain Marvel's entrance. Like when that song came on, I'm like, now she's Captain Marvel.
I get that. Maybe it's. I mean, the film is pretty comedic. Maybe it's just with the character itself. I think that's where I have the most gripe. Maybe she was a little more fun. I would go like, you know.
I thought she was fun. I mean, in her own way, you know. And she's just sort of like, she's like an '80s badass, you know. Yeah. She's like a Rambo type.
Yeah, okay.
But for the modern era, obviously, things are different.
I could accept that.
Modern context.
It just felt a little, I don't know, something about it just didn't feel as earned as it should have been. No. There was that. There was the Nirvana song, which I thought. That was a
both of these songs are big '90s hits, and you know they really wanted to stress like this takes place in the '90s. Right. This is the past.
I felt like the Nirvana song felt like more earned.
Yeah.
Than
Which one was it again?
It was Come. What the heck?
Oh yeah, Come as you are. Oh yeah, I remember now. I remember when she's like.
So when she's like in the dream world, I was like, okay. So it kind of. Like, you can interpret it like, oh, she has to come as she was.
Yeah,
she has to be Carol Danvers. Yay! You know?
Basically.
So that kind of felt more entwined with the story's, like, arc, at least.
Now, see, that's how I felt when I'm Just a Girl came on. Like, she gets up and she's like, I'm just a girl. Yeah. Look what I can do.
Yeah, I guess. It was just like, it was almost like cheap, just because it just showed the montages for falling all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
And she gets up, you know.
And I'm glad you brought that up again, because that was the other issue I had with the flashback scene. Was the fact that they did like all the flashbacks to her struggles.
Yeah.
There was that one part at the end where it shows like all her falls all in a row and all her rises again. And that was cool.
Yeah, that was.
But the thing was, that's exactly how they did it every other time that they cut through the movie. They just didn't like score it and cut it exactly the same. So by the time that big moment came, I'm just like...
It was all this previous flashbacks we already seen.
Yeah, I've seen this like 3 times already.
That's why
I appreciate the metaphor, but you jumped the shark too early.
Right. That's why I would have enjoyed it if it was more linear. Like they showed that in real time, you know, and like her growing up in the stages, and then they flash back to all the falls, and then like her getting up. Then people, I don't know, it just would have been
just those like 3 instances of like. Falling down, rising up, and then rise and fall. It was they just sort of like gave it to you all at once in small spots throughout the movie. And by the time it was time for that big moment, I was like, oh yeah, I see what you're doing, but it's just, you know, it's kind of lost the subtlety. At this point, I was expecting
this. That's what it was.
Like I knew this was coming now.
It was a little too on the nose with that. That's what it must have been.
I appreciate the metaphor with the rise and fall, but they just beat the hell out of it. And you know, I started noticing it. It came to the front of my eye.
Right. I want to talk about Stan Lee a little bit more.
Yes.
With the intro Marvel credits. With the Marvel logo, it had like all Stan Lee's cameos.
Face, all his cameos.
And I said, I watched this film with Matt, and I was like, oh, that should just be it forever. You know, they should just leave it.
I can't cry every time I go to see a Marvel movie, Josh. Not every time.
Well, maybe he might have a cameo in Endgame. So.
And now I'm saying Ender's
Game. Yeah, Endgame.
They might. He might. They might put him in there. I wonder how they do that, though.
I don't know. They probably have enough footage of him saying every word in the English dictionary that they could CGI his head on someone's body.
Probably.
Which I wouldn't pass it by Disney because
they've done it before.
Yeah, you could look at these.
They could Tarkin him.
Exactly, which would be a little soon and a little I don't know.
I think
uncanny.
The nod to Stan Lee in the intro to Captain Marvel, I think, was especially appropriate because, you know, she carries the namesake of his brand on her shoulders with that character. And so it was kind of poetic that Captain Marvel was the movie that would honor Stan Lee immediately, well, not immediately, but the most recently after his death.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was good, especially with the little, like, smile that, like, she shot CG Stan Lee on the bus. It was sort of a moment like, thanks, man. We're gonna be okay.
It did seem like
thanks for everything. You know,
they
really
acknowledged each other.
Yeah, I enjoyed that moment.
Yeah,
that's the MCU saying goodbye and thank you to Stan Lee, which I thought was wonderful.
Brings a little tear to your eye.
Literally, I was like, I'm not gonna cry in public right now. Not over Stan Lee. Yes, I am. Here I go.
Oh no. We love you, Stan. We'll miss you.
We love you, Stan.
I just wanted to discuss of how the Avengers got their name.
Yeah. That was another great twist. So, again, spoiler alert, pretty big spoiler. At the end of the movie, Nick Fury is sitting down, basically getting started on the Avengers Initiative. He decides after the whole Skrull Kree thing on Earth, and how Captain Marvel kind of just wrapped it all up and was really their saving grace right there. He decided, this is going to happen again. We're going to need more superheroes. And so he's writing down, what was it, the Guardians Initiative or something like that? It was like the Protectors Initiative, that was it, something like that. And then he's looking at a photo of Carol back in her Air Force days, and on the side of her planes it says Carol Avenger Danvers, and he's like... And then they did the same thing they did at the end of Civil War, where they just tease it. So you just see Samuel L. just delete what he had before and type something out, and then you hear the Avengers theme go, and of course that's where it cuts.
So it almost retcons Captain America being the first Avenger, because she's like kind of the first Avenger now. Kinda.
Well, she's the first one to hold the title Avenger, and even technically that was just her nickname in the Air Force. As a hero, she was never an Avenger. I think they call Captain America the first Avenger because that's the word they decided to use for superheroes, because they really don't say superhero that often in the MCU.
Isn't the word superhero copywritten by DC Comics?
It is it? There's no way.
I think
There's no way.
I don't know. We'll show a Wikipedia page.
Well, either way. Well, that's one of the... I think I kind of appreciate how little they use the word superhero, because it's become so commonplace now. It's a word you almost don't listen to anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
So when you say improved persons or Avengers, you know, it adds a lot of gravitas to it, I think. So I think they call him the first Avenger because that's how they decided to call these people. So when they looked at his file, like, Steve Rogers is back, I'll mark this under Avenger.
Right. Well, and plus, you know, you could say, oh, he was in the 1940s and blah, blah, blah.
And hey, alphabetically, his name would come first, so he is the first Avenger on the list.
That's true. They're both captains.
Yeah.
They're going to fight for that title. Who's going to win? Probably Captain What's-Her-Face?
Captain Marvel. Yeah, if it came down to the two of them, she would swat him like a fly.
She almost has, like, unlimited amount of power. Like, she embraces it all at the end of the movie.
She's the MCU's answer to Superman, basically.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot.
She's going to be the trump card that flips the table.
Right. Which, I was kind of like thinking about it. I was like, what? People always say Superman has a lot of power, and I was looking at her. I was like, she's pretty powerful.
See, this is what it's like for me to look at Superman. Now you know. Now you know what it's like.
I'm like, so what's the problem with Superman? She has like all these powers. What the fuck?
Well, to be fair, Carol Danvers is just sort of like, I need to blast more.
Superman. She went at the speed of freaking light at the end of the movie.
Yeah, but sometimes Superman is also like, oh, I melted the part of your brain that gives you superpowers with my heat vision and my X-ray vision, so I knew exactly where it was.
Yeah,
so now you don't have powers
microscopic vision. He could see the atoms in your body.
Okay, so you hear that, right? Like, you hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, then we'll agree to disagree.
Must be a comic book.
I don't know what we're disagreeing about. I think they're both pretty great characters.
I think we're both like defending our favorites. Like, you leave her alone.
I put it off the bat that
you leave my Carol alone,
I think
Josh.
Marvel films are kicking DC's ass for sure. You know.
I think that's fair to say without being too biased.
I'll definitely give it to them.
Yeah.
DC. You had the shot. You had the first You had the first freaking cinematic movie, and you lost it. You lost it.
Everyone loved a Batman movie, and they just sort of fell off the rails.
Even before that, they had Superman the movie.
That's true, yeah. Christopher Reeve's movies.
Yeah,
love those movies.
Exactly. They dropped the ball, so you guys better pick it back up. I want to see what you guys are doing. So, now look forward to what the heck is it? Ender's Game.
Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame. Not Avengers Endgame. Ender's Avenge Game. It's not that.
Avengers.
Ender's Avengers.
Look forward to that movie.
Sponsored by Famous Amos Cookies.
So, Connor, do you have any final words you want to...
Yeah. Just to sum it all up, Captain Marvel, great watch. Good nostalgia feature if you like the comics. Yeah, you can forgive the mistakes in the movie. It has enough action, and the characters are likable enough. All in all, I give it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, I had fun.
I'll give it around the same number. I would say, if you don't want to pay money for this, wait till it comes on Netflix or something where you can rent it. But like if you want to see it in theaters, it won't. There's no harm done.
It's worth the money. I don't regret seeing it in theaters. It's worth the money.
It's definitely worth it. So I think you'll have a fun time. Bring your kids; they'll have a fun time. And what is Captain Marvel? Does she have a saying? This is the Avengers.
That's what she said. She does have it's Where's Fury. That's only funny if you've seen the movie.
And we'll end it there.
That's perfect.